Collarbone open. Good. Belt buckle forward. Half belt soften. Well done. That was your best one. Trot and do that the other way. Good for you. Torso tall. Belly button forward. Collarbone open. Make your front as long as your back. If you sit and you get a little round shouldered, your front shortens and your back lengthens. When you sit, keep your collarbone open so you're as tall in front as you are in the back. So you match back and front. And a long horse that pulls down a little bit will do that to your torso, huh? Pulls your shoulders forward, downward. That's your first line of defense. Maybe defense is not the best word, but you know what I mean. You keep your posture, he'll have a less of a chance to take his posture away from you. Chin up, collarbone open. Nice there. See the difference? And Megan is taping you a little bit too. You'll see it on the tape. Super. When he starts to pull your seat forward, push your knees down as well. You're better with your elbows and the height of your hands there. So collarbone open, elbows by hips, knees a little bit down. Nice. And he looks like he's just a little bit stiffer this way than the other way. Yep. Yes. He pushes on your right side. There. Nicely done. Yeah. So now, along with that longitudinal balance, slightly flex him right. To see if we can make a few more transitions on the straightaway like that with him on your seat and flex right. But without leaving the ring, right? So he's not bulging left when he flexes right. Collarbone open. Nice. Chin up and in. Yes. Play with the right rein. Work your wrists a little back and forth just while you're trotting. Very steady on the left outside rein. Left elbow stays connected to seat. Play with the throat latch. Soften it up a little bit. I like that his ears get floppy when you do that, but I still would like his pole the highest point. So kick on, and then elbows back. Get the pole up. You got it. He's very clever. That's right. You can pull the reins again. Okay, collarbone open. Good. Flex with the inner rein. A direct half felt back with the outer rein. Good boy. Now, when you flex, only take his nose slightly in. Careful you don't take his nose all the way to the point of his shoulder, because then his shoulders go down going a little bit left. So head in center of chest with flexion to the inside. Collarbone. There you go. That one gets you the most perpendicular to the ground if thinking of opening your collarbone. Low left outside hand, left elbow comes back and connects to hip. This time, Sue, shorten him as if you were going to trot and then trot away. Shorten him up as if you were going to walk and then trot away. Low outside hand, collarbone up, belt buckle forward. Nice. And do that again any place on the short side. Feel like you could walk any step, and right before you walk, trot away. Brighten him up, trot away, right before you walk. Nicely done. Collarbone open. And then remind him again. Flex him right, flex him right. Half out left as if you're going to walk. Right before he walks, ready, trot away. Right when you feel him start to lower his croup a little bit, okay? Because he needs reminders in lowering that croup. Good. Let him walk along for a minute. We'll work on the canter. He needs to be reminded, these aids shorten you up, these aids sit you down, these aids send you forward. Stay on all of my aids. And he needs more reminders right than left. And he needs you to be here because of his tendency to be down.
I didn't realize I was sort of collapsing my shoulder blade.
He's trained you a bit, hasn't he? Horses are good at training people. So are dogs. So in canter, is the left also the better one?
The left leads the best.
Okay. And then what kind of, go ahead.
When I first got him, he always wanted to fall out against his right shoulder.
Okay.
So it's still, at the canter, less so at the trot, that, you really have to guard his outside if you're doing the left lead.
Sure. That goes with the stiff right. Hollow left, bulges right, and his stiff right. That all goes. And again, very typical big Hanoverian. Very typical. So what kind of exercises have you been working on in your daily work?
Well, yesterday we've done those. I'm really still bad at them, notwithstanding I'm an ex-offender.
Hey now.
We've been working on just, collecting,
Okay.
getting them a bit more accordion-like.
Okay. In the canter?
In the canter especially.
Okay.
His canter's huge.
Okay.
And
That's where the cavalettis will help him. Yeah.
And he really doesn't want to shorten it up.
Okay.
So it's a question of me finding the key to doing it.
Okay. A lot of it will be posture and position, and then timing. Half vault soften, soften without giving away. Soften your rein when he's on your seat. He stays on your seat when you soften. And thinking through, after watching the trot and thinking about him, what I'd like to do in the canter is on a 20-meter circle. First, lengthen, shorten on the open side of the circle. You have a clear transition to bigger canter and shorter canter. And I like to do it on the open side so there's no wall to help the horse on the outside, okay? I like to shorten approaching the track because horses will more naturally shorten approaching the track, okay? After he's done that both ways, then I'd like to do the same circle, go forward, like 2 steps, collect and walk between the quarter lines, or shorten the canter as much as you can until it's almost like pirouette canter. If he'll come back, canter, walk, do. Okay? And then the next time after you've walked once, the next time come back and almost walk like you did in the trot. Because you felt how that lifted him a little bit more in the middle? Because it put him more on your seat. Okay, elbow to hip and shoulders up tall, shoulders up tall. Remember in second level how it says shorten the stride in the walk before you canter? So walk. Stretch up tall. Yep, collarbone open, belt buckle up in front of you. Shorten the stride in the walk. Good boy, still walking, still walking, still walking. Good boy, but short. There, this in alone is a very good exercise for him. And stay flexed to the inside, and now he's not to tug on you. He tugs on you, he gets a quick half vault, and then a softening, a reminder that we're not going there. We're not going to go to that place. Right leg up front, stretch up tall. Yep. It's hard for him to stay in that short walk, isn't it? So when you're giving him walk breaks, think of doing some of this, because he's walking and catching his wind, and for sure he needs breaks where he gets long and low, and he can have it not be on the contact. But this is a good exercise just in the walk. Shorten it up again. Keep walking. He still walks, but it's as short as you can make it. Collarbone open. Walking. Belt buckle up. Nice. Now let him walk a little more forward. Good. Good. And then from there, shorten 1 or 2 steps, and then your canter. Stretch tall. Collarbone open. Not shorter than that. Pull the highest point. Good boy. Good boy. Yep. Step up to canter. And walk. Right away, come back to walk, because he didn't canter.
Yeah, you know
okay?
What it is? He never believes me. Usually the first canter we do is from a trot.
Okay, well, he can do this.
Yeah,
Okay?
I know he can.
Yep. Shorten him up. Pull stays the highest point. Okay. Remind him what your canter aids are. Give him a little kick with your inner leg that says go forward. Give him a little reminder with your outer leg that says don't swing out. Good boy. And then 2 legs, inside and outside. Get your canter stretch up tall, Sue. And collect and walk. Shorten him. Raise your hands slightly. Half vault soften. Half vault soften. Lift your belt buckle. And canter. And he strikes right off. Good girl. So that's something, each day, whether you do it from trot or from canter, he's got to believe you. And you repeat it until he does believe you. Walk, flex right. Yep, right leg up front. Rib cage up tall. Collarbone open. Yeah, there was a little too much trot in there. And the other thing he's trained you to do is to give rein when you go to canter. Half vault soften. Okay, short walk but active walk. We're going to canter and stay the same, that he doesn't canter and go longer, and then you have to regather him. Gather him in the walk. Stays on your seat. Stays active in front of both legs. Strike off to canter. Stay tall. Stay with the reins the same length. Don't let the reins out. Canter. Yep. Flex right. Rib cage up, collarbone up and open. Flex right. Play with your wrist on the right side. Inner leg stay. Canter. Still cantering. So the other thing he does is tip down to get away from you. He goes long to get away from you, and then he goes down behind the vertical a little to get away from you. Slightly raise your right hand. Keep the circle here. And lengthen on the open side of the circle. Stretch up tall. Come back a little bit. Raise your right hand slightly. Pull your right shoulder back. Shorten the canter a bit more, even if you have to half vault the inner rein, because he's strong on this right rein. There it is. Give him a little scratch on the neck when he finds the balance, and then flex him right again. Shorten that canter right back up. On the next side of the circle, lengthen again. Keep his pole up, a little bit flexed right. Ready, lengthen. Good boy, uphill, play with the right rein. Shorten a little bit, shorten a little bit more, shorten a little more. Super, pat him and let him go forward. Good boy. And then come back a little, shorten again. Flex right, flex right, flex right. This side of the circle, lengthen. Ready? And lengthen. And flex right as you lengthen. And now flex right as you shorten. Raise your right hand slightly. Open your collarbone. Small circle right here within the large circles to a small circle. Raise your collarbone. Flex right, right shoulder back. Raise your right hand. Collarbone and right shoulder. And collect to walk. Collarbone and right shoulder. And walk. Voice. Okay, when you go to walk and he goes boom and disappears, inside rein back, then outside rein back. And that says you must stay flexed right, you must half vault back, one then the other. So a couple things he's figured out of avoiding the half vault is diving down a bit on beat 3. And then when he disappeared at the moment of the transition, he broke the connection. You have to have a connection, leg to hand, hand to seat. When you tried to do hand to seat, he folded up in front. So at that moment, things you can do. You can push him back forward to canter, okay, with inner leg at the girth and outer leg back. You can insist that he walks, but take the inside rein and flex him. Exactly. And if you have to raise the inside hand, that's fine. So wait and have him walk in a short stride.
So you can zoom in a little bit.
Raise your inside hand a little bit. And drive him with your inner leg, because you felt him get crooked to try to avoid it. Good boy. Good boy. Raise your inside hand slightly. Collarbone back with it. Collarbone
now
open.
It's recording.
And when he dives down, give that rein a little lift and a little jiggle.
But then
hey,
when
hey. Stay up here, my friend. Stay up here. Good boy.
And
then check your position, Sue.
That's
good.
Like
now
the
lengthen your
stop
canter.
Button.
Okay.
This one.
Lengthen.
So like
lengthen. Good. Now stretch up tall. Raise your inside hand. Pull your inside shoulder back. Shorten a little bit more. Jiggle that right rein a little bit. Jiggle it. Hey. Good boy. Yay. Pat him long rein. That was a better answer, right?
Yeah.
So you have to really think fast because he has so many evasions. You have to be so on top of him, okay? But little pieces of your position that help that pole come back up. Really avoiding coming straight back on both reins at the same time because he folds over and cheats you. He cheats you out of a half vault when he does that. You can't get a half vault when he does that. And then you have to be quick. So we're changing exit. We're working the canter and we're working the balance in the canter. But we're changing exercises from one side of the circle to the other, aren't we? We have to keep changing it up because unfortunately if you stick with one thing, he ignores you. Or he learns what you're asking and then stops.
Is he having a tantrum?
Yeah.
He's playing. And Welly's encouraging him.
So glad Welly's here
She's a cheerleader.
for naughtiness.
Okay, shorten the walk, Sue. And things I'll caution you when you do this on your own. You do have to be careful that the walk stays pure. You have a horse with 3 nice gaits. Just as you work the shorter walk, you have to be careful it stays pure.
Yeah?
Nice. And when you're ready to canter, strong aid. Inner leg up front, outer leg back. 1, 2, bang, canter. Come on, canter. Upper body tall. Shoulders up, collarbone open. Good girl. And raise your inner hand. Raise just the inner one. And give him a little hey with the inner hand. Hey, get your head up and keep it up. Enough of that. Good boy. Lengthen the canter. Nice. Stretch tall. Little half vault on the outside. Little lift. That was a nice one. Yes. And lengthen. Bigger. Bigger. Make him work. And now you sit tall and make him work by sitting under you. Raise your